Alright, good evening ladies and gents, welcome back to Compound Interesting. In today's video I want to give my perspectives on how I'm approaching investing over the next year or two in the short term, and want to update how my strategy has actually completely changed over the last few months and where I think there is actually extreme value at this particular moment in time. So where I'm actually deploying my funds right now. And yeah, for the last few months I was buying some Solana, I was still buying some NFTs because I was figuring they're probably pretty close to a bottom. There's probably good value there. They're probably they could keep going down, but they might not keep going down that much. It's probably close-ish enough to a bottom. But then I remembered, does that necessarily mean it's the best investment at that particular time? No, obviously not. And I want to kind of update on what worked for me in the last crypto winter, which lasted a few years, and because I actually went through this, and so I actually want to update from my mistakes of what I did the last time around and actually do more of what worked for me the last time around. So let me paint the picture of what happened in the last crypto winter. Bitcoin peaked at around December 2018 and it bottomed around 1 year later in December 2019. Now, does that mean that was the perfect time to buy Bitcoin and altcoins? Yeah, it was probably pretty close to a good time, but was that the best investment at that particular time? No, because Bitcoin didn't really do anything for a year, and I had a bit of a scam pump about a year later in June 2019, and then it kind of chilled, went sideways for another year until finally, after the Bitcoin halving in May 2020, I think the halving was, a few months after that, Bitcoin started going up, but it actually went up quite early, and that was because of the you know what that can't be mentioned. Actually, I can mention it. I'm not even monetized, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So there was actually better places to put your money when crypto winter really set in, and no one was really focused on crypto. There's better ways to allocate your capital when if you think something's going to go basically sideways for a couple of years, which I think crypto in general will do. Then in the short term, it makes sense to actually look at other places where you can make shorter term gains potentially. So that's where I want to focus on for today's video, where I'm going to be allocating my capital for the next year or two. But that does not mean that I will be forgetting about crypto. I will be 100% clued in on the space, trying to keep absolutely up to date on everything that's going on for the next bull run, so I know exactly how to position myself. Because once Bitcoin broke all-time highs again in, December 2020, that was actually the time to go all in on altcoins. That particular moment when Bitcoin started taking off. That was actually a point where I bought a load of Bitcoin when Bitcoin broke all-time highs. I bought it around 21k or something, and that was a good investment in the short term, but now it's actually down, funnily enough. But had I just sold all my Bitcoin and bought altcoins and sold them all a year later, that would have been the perfect play. So basically what I'm saying is we have a lot of time to be buying crypto. There's no rush to be buying crypto, in my personal opinion. We can buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, save up some cash and buy it at the start of the next bull run. But what might potentially be a good investment in the shorter run? What worked for me in the last crypto winter, everything got pretty boring, so I left the crypto space, and I started researching and learning how to invest in stocks and learning how to value companies. So to clarify my investing approach on crypto right now, be very clued in, especially in the NFT space. This is just what I'm going to be doing, because I think NFTs will be a higher beta play than altcoins. I think altcoins have already done 2 major cycles of going up quite a lot. I think a better play for the next cycle is probably going to be NFTs, in my personal opinion. So I'll be very on the ball about NFTs. However, I think I have a lot of time to buy NFTs. I don't think NFTs are going to start going to the moon again in a recession, so I don't think there's any rush to be buying NFTs. But what worked for me in the last cycle was when everything went quiet in crypto in 2018, 2019, was to switch to investing in the stock market and learning about stocks, and that's what I'm going to be doing again. And there's one particular company which was my highest conviction investment and largest investment in the stock market, and that was Tesla. But what am I interested in investing right now? What's the next stock that I'm going all in on? It's still Tesla. That's the thing. And the thing that I learned about investing in the stock market and investing in crypto for me is to double down on your highest conviction plays and put a lot of money, put the majority of your allocation into your highest conviction plays and the most obvious plays. So I researched like dozens and dozens of different companies and invested in probably dozens of companies when all those stocks started going to the moon. But the best play would have just been continually investing in Tesla. Like, even though I did really well on a lot of stocks in the short term when everything was going crazy in 2021 and 2020, now a lot of those stocks are probably down quite a lot and probably haven't made as much gains as I would have made had I just gone all in on Tesla. So let me show you a few reasons why I believe Tesla could be extremely undervalued right now. Now, just to clarify, during the last crypto winter, I was still stacking Bitcoin every day. I was buying €10 per day, which isn't a huge amount of money, but that's the amount of money I could make as a waiter at the time. So I was working as a waiter and still putting €10 a day into Bitcoin. So I'm still going to be doing that this crypto winter. I'm going to be, I don't know what the exact amount, but every month I'm just going to be buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, just dollar cost averaging, because I want to have a nice bag of that for my whole life, and at these cheap prices. Like, even though I mightn't see crazy good returns in the short term, I still want to build my bag over time. But altcoins and NFTs probably going to have to take a bit of a back seat until the next crypto bull cycle comes back. But Tesla, let me just show you a few reasons why Tesla could be a really good play for. It's just extremely undervalued in my particular opinion, and these are a few catalysts from Gary Black, well worth a follow on Twitter if you're on Twitter and you're interested in Tesla stock. Basically, the whole reason Tesla is undervalued is because of Elon Musk buying Twitter, and he's had to sell a shitload of shares to fund this, to kind of bail out Twitter essentially. And that's not a fundamental reason. That's got nothing to do with Tesla. It's just Elon has a load of shares because he never sold any of them until the last couple of years. He just held them all because he didn't want to sell shares when Tesla was struggling. So he held all of his shares, and now that Tesla's worth quite a bit, he kind of needs the money now, so that's why he's selling shares. But he's having to sell them kind of cheap to us. So here are a few Tesla catalysts from Gary Black over the next year or two. So the whole Twitter debacle will end soon enough, hopefully. Earnings per share revisions basically means like Tesla's earnings are probably going to be higher than Wall Street is expecting. New gigas, this is new factories that they're going to be building over the next year or two. They haven't announced any of these yet, I don't think. A new factory in the UK and another one in North America. That's probably just going to be like, oh, we're going to be building a new factory next year. Full self-driving, full release. The new EV credit from the Inflation Reduction Act will be coming into effect very soon in 2022, quarter one. Potentially Tesla is going to do a buyback. Elon Musk talked about that on the latest earnings call, that they could easily do. They have like 20 billion on their balance sheet and they print like a few billion every quarter. They're making insane profits at the moment, and they have loads of money on their balance sheet, and Tesla stock is at historically cheap valuations, so a buyback could well be a good use of capital potentially. Do I think a $10 billion buyback in Q1? I think that could be a bit stretching it, and I don't think it's really necessary. I think it would be kind of better to just hold the cash, because who knows what will happen over in a recession. But there could be a buyback next year, and Elon Musk said that there could be a buyback next year, which would be very good for the stock price. Obviously, Cybertruck coming next year, and also Tesla Semi, so the big, semi trucks. Then 30k small EV car, so that's like a much cheaper Tesla Model 2 kind of car. That would be, Tesla's game-changing product. And if that's just even like they're going to announce that soon enough, but Tesla don't want to announce it prematurely, because that will stop people buying Tesla Model 3s if they know there's going to be a cheaper one coming out in a year or two. So they won't announce that until they think it's the right time. But that's coming very soon. So Gary Black's price target over the next 6 to 12 months is $550. Tesla right now is trading less than $200. So that would be, you know, an easy double up within a year, which would be crazy. And like, that's a high enough price target in a recession, but just kind of shows you the insane valuations. And this is all based off earnings per share, you know, standard valuation models, Wall Street valuation models. The craziest thing is, look at Tesla's PE ratio right now. This is forward PE. Sorry, this is current PE. So Tesla's current PE is 42. So Tesla's current price to earnings ratio is 42, which is the same price to earnings ratio it was at in 2019 when everyone was shorting the stock and everyone thought Tesla was going to go bankrupt. And right now Tesla is absolutely killing it, and it has the same price to earnings ratio as then. So that's crazy. Tesla's forward price to earnings ratio is like 30, which is insanely cheap for a company growing this fast. It's growing like 40% year over year. Next year, probably, maybe even 50%. So a price to earnings ratio of 30 is just insanely cheap. But Elon Musk needs money at the moment, and he's selling his shares, and it's expected, people are expecting that he's going to have to sell more shares, up to the tune of maybe like 3 to 4 billion over the next year of Tesla stock, in order to kind of continually bail out Twitter, because it's not doing great at the moment because advertisers are pulling off Twitter. But you know, Elon Musk will be able to sort that. If he can land rockets, he can sort out Twitter, he can sort out a social media app. I'm not too worried about that. But this has absolutely nothing to do with the fundamentals of Tesla. It's just short-term market conditions, Elon needing to sell shares. So there's potentially a good buying opportunity for anyone who wants to buy Tesla stock at a cheap price. So that's kind of where I'm focusing for the next few months. If Tesla remains anywhere around these prices, I think it's a good bar, much better opportunity in the shorter term. And by short term, I mean next 1 or 2 years. So I think Tesla is trading at a cheap valuation, and if it performs well over the next year or two, then I'll start converting my buys more from Tesla stock back into crypto. But I think the risk reward is better in Tesla for me personally at this very time. Obviously, there could be a lot of issues with Tesla over the next year. Like, this isn't completely foolproof. There could be demand issues next year. I don't think there will be huge demand issues, but it is a recession. We will be going into a recession, and people might want to be buying 50 grand cars in a recession. But the flip side of that is that Tesla has had insane demand for years, and they've always sold every car they've made, and they've always have had a bit of a backlog on their cars, but the backlog is shrinking a bit, so you've got to be a bit realistic. But buying Tesla stock in the last crypto winter worked for me, so I'm going to be buying Tesla stock again in this crypto winter, and hopefully it will work again. Then coming into the next crypto bull run, just be focusing on NFTs most likely, and just stacking as much Bitcoin and Ethereum, and maybe some alts, which I will sell back into Bitcoin in the peaks if everything plays out similar to how it did last time around. So that's all I got for you today. Really hope you enjoyed the video. Really hope you learned something, and can't wait to see you in the next one. Cheers.